Hi, I'm Caressa Jackson for Heart of the Home, coming to you from the kitchen at the Meadow Event Park. Today we're going to be making macaroni and cheese with a little spin. We're going to be adding some ham and some spinach to this recipe. So before we get started, I just want to let you know that I've already ahead of time boiled 2 cups of macaroni. That makes about 4 to 6 servings. So just to let you know, those are already done in the interest of time. We're going to start with 2 cups of, I have whole milk here. And we're also going to start with about 1/4 cup of butter. So we're going to put our butter in the pan just to coat it, because what you'll notice is that eventually there's going to be like a film that starts to bubble up when we put all of our ingredients together. And so this just keeps things from sticking to your pan. And because dairy is one of the top 5 commodities in Virginia, you can easily find some Virginia butter anywhere you go. So we are going to get that good and melted, and you can take it off the heat just a little bit because you don't want the butter to burn. And we want to have our eye right at about medium low. And then we'll go ahead when the butter is just about melted and add our milk. All right. Then here I have 1 stick of softened Philadelphia cream cheese. So whatever kind of cream cheese you like to use, I'm gonna go ahead and add that. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to get a pretty thick cheesy paste. We're also going to add 1 cup of sour cream. And then here's the fun part. My family likes 3 cheese macaroni. So we try to put in Monterey Jack, Kobe cheese. We do lots of cheddar. So whatever cheese pretty much tickles your heart, go ahead and add it at this point. I have a big bowl of cheese here because we're going to use some cheese as a topper, but we're also going to use some cheese to melt into the sauce. So I'm going to take about 4 or 5 handfuls. And it's very important to cook this on low because the cheese will burn and you don't want a really messy pan in the end of all this. So we want to fold our cheese into the mix. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and you can do this to taste. The sauce takes about 10 minutes to simmer, so we're going to go ahead and cook that on low, and then when we come back, it'll be time to layer up our pan. Now that our cheese sauce is prepared, we're going to go ahead and do some mixing. So we're going to start off with our macaroni and cheese. We're going to put this in a large bowl. We are going to add some ham, which Virginia is also very famous for. And we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this mixture first, because it's a lot easier to get seasoned well aside from the sauce, because sometimes the salt and pepper taste can get lost in the cheese sauce. We will mix this up. And then slowly pour in our cheese sauce. So at this point, we're going to do about half of the pot. And the good thing about this is if you make too much, you can always freeze it. All right, then we're going to add a little bit more of the shredded cheese that we have left. So here I have some fresh spinach, so we're gonna put that on the bottom of whatever our non-stick pan is. This is a great way of just making a 1-pot meal, so you don't have to worry about getting your veggies in or getting whatever meat in. It's all in one dish. And then put our macaroni on top. And if you want, for people who like to have their macaroni and cheese extremely cheesy, you can use some of this leftover sauce once we have layered up the pan and just make it a little extra cheesy. So that's up to you and whatever your preference are. And then we're gonna do another layer of spinach. Then you don't feel so bad for eating all that cheese because you put some vegetables in it. Add the last of our shredded cheese on top. And then here I have 1 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. You might not need that many, just enough to sprinkle on the top to make a nice crust to melt in with your cheese. That'll give it a bit of a crunch when you bite into it. All right, and we're gonna bake this in the oven at 375 for about 20 to 30 minutes or until the top is golden brown. I've allowed the mac and cheese to cool for about 20 to 30 minutes. We want to allow the cheese to set. That way when we cut it, it's easier to serve. And you'll see that even after sitting, steam still comes right out, so it's still very hot and delicious. And the spinach has already cooked through, which is why we didn't have to do that ahead of time. I'm Caressa Jackson for Heart of the Home, and this is cheesy macaroni and cheese with ham and spinach. Come and get it.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.